All right, I figure it's about time to do a house update. We're 75% of the way there, or maybe further than that, maybe 85% of the way there. But I know you guys like seeing this stuff on my, we'll call this the temporary house. It's become even more temporary because I gotta get the heck out of here. We'll talk about that when we go out to the garage. But I'm just gonna take you through, I know some of you have seen most of this, but I'm gonna take you through each room and talk about what we've done. And we'll probably be a bit redundant here, but I know some of you, this is probably the first video you've seen. So entryway, we can talk more about the whole house. The tile, this is that wood-looking tile that's, I don't love it, but I don't hate it enough to tear out the whole house. It has a yellow hue to it. We've actually had it deep cleaned. I'm gonna have it cleaned one more time. So we had it cleaned when we moved in, but we have so many workers and myself and so much dirt in and out of here that it would make sense to redo it again. But I didn't put the flooring in, this was in. We did have the entire house painted, which I'm gonna go through and touch everything up after all this is complete. But this is Benjamin Moore AC 25 Harbor Gray that is Sherwin-Williams matched. So this is cashmere on the walls. Always do flat. Stop this stuff where you're not washing your walls. You want to just touch them up. And if you have a flat wall, you don't have to roll the whole wall out. And even if you did roll the whole wall out, when you do a sheen, a lot of times when the sun, hits the wall, you can see it. So we didn't mess with anything with the front door other than the security. There is an ADT system in the house. There's a layer of dust on everything. But there's an ADT system in the house, which I'm not a big fan of subscription services like that, but it was here, it was already all set up, all the windows were done. We had them put in a wireless door lock, which attached to the system. There's a doorbell cam, there's a cam looking out onto the driveway, and then a cam in the garage, which we got a double white trash fancy gate. You gotta go through guard and then another gate. So, and we live in the middle of nowhere, so it's kind of pointless, but he's already here. It cost me $40 a month to have that set up. So here all we really did was paint and switch the light fixture. Clearly, I bought one that's a little too big. This is from Restoration Hardware. I should have bought the one size down. I think this is a 52 inch. I should have bought, I think they had like a 38 inch or something like that. But it's here. I spent a bunch of money on it, so we're gonna just leave it alone. Now we have these goofy little things that we had from the last house that are a little wonky, but it's good to go. So then in the living room, this wasn't the intention. This was the couch I had in my home theater. This is a Lazy Boy Devon. We were going to buy some new furniture, but after the realization that we're not going to be here for very long, we decided to scrap the idea of getting a new couch. I talked to Michelle and I just set this thing up. We took one section out. I had one more section that made it one extra cushion, 24 inches wider. It's getting destroyed. It's microfiber. And my kids and dog are ruining the darn thing. I never thought I'd have a dog, I guess, or kids, but it's we're just ruining it. It stinks because it's it was a $4,000 or $5,000 couch, but we know I ought to be able to squeeze another 1.5 years out of it around how long we end up being here. But the key thing here is that, remember, I know I'm basically renting this house. I own the house, but I'm going to be here a short period of time. To remind you, I had a big house on 6 acres. We bought a big house on the lake. The house on the lake didn't appraise. The house we lived in was sold, and so we bought this house in like 3 days. So we picked the house in 1 day and did a 10-day close and just moved in and paid cash. And if I'm going to live here for 2 or 3 years, I want to make it nice. Why not? And I think we'll get some of our money back, but we'll see how it goes. So this room was a pretty remarkable change. When we moved into the house, there was a goofy bolt-on fireplace. So there's actually a chimney on the house, which is stupid because it's a gas fireplace. And then there was a little knick-knack curio stack in here. So for putting, I guess, clown figurines, and you remember home interior. If you're from the trailer park, you remember that stuff. But there was like an inset, like little curio cabinet. So we just ripped all that out, made a straight wall. This is all Restoration Hardware thingy, 77-inch OLED that's ISF calibrated. My new NAD equipment, I'm just waiting on my 7-channel amp, the M28. But this is the M17-2i, which is going to go and replace my actually really great Yamaha CXA 5200. So I have the Furman 20 amp line conditioner or surge protector. I have a UDP 9000. It's the DPU 820, which is an entry level sort of Panasonic $500 Blu-ray player that I very rarely use. So in here is going to change a bit, and that I'll do the NAD stuff. I'll swap my Sunfire amps for the NAD amps. So this is the 2-channel. So 2-channel will power the fronts, and 7-channel will power. I have Atmos in the front here, and then I have the rear channel. So it's a 5.2.1 single JL subwoofer. But I actually have these are the Contour 20i's. I have Contour 60i's. Door standing is coming. I'm waiting on them because I want them to match the center channel, which is the Contour center channel. So, this is a basic little family room system that's about to get a little less basic with how much is this thing, like $9,000 or something like that. Now, remember, I'm an NAD dealer, so it's really helpful that I paid nothing close to that. They want you to own the stuff, so I'm able to buy it as a demo. So again, painted the walls, painted the trim, cleaned this, bought this goofy carpet from Home Goods just to hold this over. And I think that room looks nice. It's a nice setup. My old horse picture that we got from, it looks like it's crooked because the subwoofer shapes the whole house. The problem with this house, it's just cheap metal studs. There's no insulation between any of the rooms. It's a nice house, so don't let me disclaim it too much. But it's, this house probably costs 180 grand to build. We bought it for 405. Right now, today, if I were to sell it, I'd probably sell for 750. Prices have increased substantially, and I have put $1 zillion into this thing, which you'll see. So then the kitchen has changed quite a bit. It's the same white cabinets. I'll tell you some mistakes I made as we go through here, but we saw on, what's that show on, it's on Netflix. It's that blonde lady, and they live in Utah, and she does everything in bronze and white. But they built this basketball player's like 16,000 square foot house, basketball court built in it, and they did this tile. That was pretty sweet. So a little different 4x4 tile. They stacked it. Michelle decided to go brick style or subway style, but these are a little 4x4, a little unique. I think they're actual porcelain, not ceramic. So we just finished that like yesterday. And they put the Schluter in. I got to touch up the walls. I got to put the under cabinet lighting in, which we'll do here shortly. But this kitchen has changed quite a bit. It had a, what was it? Whirlpool. It had a Whirlpool cooktop. Had a Whirlpool, like a regular open hood. So we did the old traditional or transitional style hood, and we did the crown molding on the top, which we didn't have. We took out and swapped these so that they're symmetrical. There was actually, the microwave was here, so this cabinet came all the way out. And so we had these custom done. We'll never do this again. It's the second time I've done it. But they build custom cabinets on site. We'll call it a 5-footer. 5 feet away, looks real nice. From my purview, when I'm sitting here and I open the cabinet, I see every freaking imperfection. And then my painters, it's been a bit of a disaster. But when you walk in the living room, you look from far away, it looks real good. It's not terrible. I wanted the doors to fix. So like these cabinets were here. We just repainted them. And they came in and they started brush painting it. And I freaked out. I'm like, what are you doing? You can't paint the freaking cabinets with a brush. They're spraying the doors and brush painting the exterior. So, it turned into an episode of HGTV, DIY, yourself garbage. But, in this class of a house, it's fine, but I wanted better and I wanted to. So the best part about this whole thing is that this house is my learning experience, what to do, what not to do. I haven't done any of this stuff before. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't build cabinets. I've never even hired anybody to build cabinets for me. So Actually, I guess we did our last house, which those were a little better than these. But anyway, the hardware is from TK Knobs, which you buy from Ferguson online or build.com. Build.com is a great place to get this kind of stuff. So what I did is I ordered like 10 different knobs, and we wanted these black chunky handles. And so I ordered a bunch of different brands, and then the TK brand felt the best. So I think I'm about maybe 1,700 to 1,800 bucks into handles. But then Michelle and I just kind of eyeballed it and said, what kind of handles should we do? We filled the old handles in. And so the handles really sort of made the kitchen. We did these larger 17-inch handles. I want to say these are like 40 or 50 bucks a piece. But you know, it's something you buy once. The Wolf cooktop, which somebody cleaned something with a rag, scratched it all up already. 50, what is this? This is the 48-inch Wolf hood with a 800 CFM fan. I think you'd need more. Of course, the best thing to do would be to put the fan motor up in the attic so you don't hear it. And then they built this little thingy, which they still got to finish the ends. And I just got to fix it here. But just some sort of little mantle, and it's tall enough to where, you know, I'm 6'2", where I don't smash my head off of it. So the backsplash has been done, the under cabinet lighting will done. We'll actually do, I'm gonna do 3500K max light under cabinet lighting. It's already wired and switched. I just have to put the lights in. I think, yeah, I don't think, oh yeah, that one has wiring too. So these 3 cabinets will have it. So then this stayed the same, but we swapped for a, you can see, there's a little film of dust on everything here from doing the cabinets and doing the backsplash. But this is the M Series double oven, which I love Wolf appliances. The thing I like about these most, which I know a lot of high-end appliances have, is they have you take this little thermostat, a little thermometer, and you jam it in your steak or whatever you're cooking. So you take this, and you put it into the spot, you jam this in the meat, you set the temp, and then it notifies you. And actually this one connects via app, so it notifies me when I'm sitting on there, and it notifies me, my phone starts buzzing and telling me, hey, you gotta come get your meat out, it's ready to go. But our next step here in the kitchen is to rip all of these, take all these apart. I'm gonna do all Hayfala drawer organization. So everything in the house right now, including the garage, is just thrown in the cabinets. It's probably not thrown in compared to regular people, but us obsessed people, it's thrown in the cabinets. So we're gonna tear all of this out. I'm gonna have drawer organization where every pot and pan has a place to go. I'll probably replace most of my pots and pans. So I figure while I'm working on building my next house, I have a bunch of little organizational projects. So the door came off. We got things that I was freaking out about, which you kind of get over. When you're nitpicking, when you first get something done, you're always nitpicking. Like you had an idea of what it should look like, and it turns out that it's kind of janky, kind of wonky. It's kind of like getting a paint job on your car, and it's just not, you paid 10 grand for the paint job, but it's not what you thought it was going to be. It's not perfection, which I was expecting, and it's not even close. So this white is not that white. These were supposed to be this white. Because it's a special cabinet paint, it's like a lacquer, I think, versus a regular water-based paint. I think, they just match it. The hue is a little different. So the painter took the door off, he's got to bring it back, he's going to repaint at least this trim so it doesn't look so different. But, what am I going to do? So then this, I think, is really cool. We redid this. So this was just wire in here. And so I decided to do the backsplash, which cost me a bunch of money to do that. Probably a backsplash tile was maybe 1,200 bucks, but then it's 15 bucks square foot or so to have my guy do it. So I'm probably 6 grand in this kitchen. But there was no backsplash in here. There were no outlets. We put the outlets in. These cabinets weren't here. This countertop wasn't here. So we found this goofy quartz Cambria, which is typical custom home builder grade countertops, but I didn't want to rip all those countertops off. This piece here cost me like 5 grand just to do. I'm only telling you prices so that you have perspective here. It means nothing to me. I'm not trying to show off. Then these were cool, so we had these stained in gray. but these are super stout shelves. We're gonna have all kinds of like organization. So each of these things will have, like for instance, when we get rice, it'll go into a particular container, and so this will all match and look really, really sweet when we're all done. These doors, see what I'm saying? Just little wonkiness. I didn't want that. So I got a couple more handles, but they're back orders I'm waiting on. But I think, you know, if you take a look at that from here, you know, this looks pretty freaking cool. Costs a lot of money to do that. I don't know what that whole room probably cost. I don't want to know. Too much. 10, 12 grand is too much to do that. But it was a good test. You know, what do I want a pantry to be when we build a house? So then this is all new. This whole piece is new. This is where the fridge was. And so I wanted to move the microwave at reasonable height so my kids could still reach it. The other one was a little bit too high. And so this is the matching M series with the matching Pro handle with microwave. This storage up here. This is kind of goofy where we had to do some false panels, but I think it worked out okay. We debated, do you put a handle on that false panel? I think we skipped that. And then this is something unique that I don't think I'll do again, but this is a zip hydro tap. Gosh, there's a film of dust on everything. So the zip system, the zip hydro tap is where I'd have a water line put in. I also had to have the drain tapped into. So behind here is a mess of plumbing and wiring. And so the concept here was to have a drink area, drink station. So we have the Scotsman nugget ice maker. This always makes everybody angry when I do this. It's my ice in my house, I'll do whatever I want. So I do that just for you on camera. So this is that like nugget stuff, you know, that they have at, we call it Sonic Ice because that's what you get at Sonic here. But that nugget ice is, this has an actual drain, a pump drain instead of a gravity drain. So then they had to waste this cabinet and put a whole drain system in. And so I was able to use that drain for my, clean this out. This is called a font. And then this is the hydro tap. And so the idea here is that I would get ice, just dump my cup in there. I can do cold water. I can do sparkling water, which I like. It's not supposed to spurt, but I can't figure out why it spurts like that. And then I also have the ability to do boiling water, and so that's a drain there, so when you get water everywhere, then you have the drain. So if I do this again, I'll probably do it in the middle so that the countertop is, you know, doesn't drip on the floor. But this whole system is, this was like $5,800. If it was $1,500, I think it'd be worth it. The water's fantastic. Yeah, but that's the concept here, because I hate, I'll show you the fridge here in a second, but I hate having a dispenser on the front of the fridge, especially with kids, and these pee-pee dribbles all the way down the front of your fridge. So this setup here, I was going to put this in the attic, but then people brought to my attention that then when you're boiling water running a 10-foot line, just not smart. It's really supposed to be directly under the hydro tap. This cabinet turned out to be a little bit too small, so I had to move it over here. And it works out okay. Having the doors on here, having enough room all the way up into this cabinet means that I didn't have to ventilate it. This thing, if you were using it commercially, it could get really hot. But like if you're making mac and cheese, you take your pot, bring it over here, turn it to boiling. So I turn this to red, and double tap to, I have to tap the bottom. There you go, turn to red. So now you have boiling water comes out. And you have to let it takes a second because it has to pull from another tank. But this would be your water filter system. Now I have a separate filter system for the whole house. But so your concept here is all your drink stuff is here. We have this cabinet is, once we painted it, tolerance is a little bit tight, so we have some shorter, I had to order some shorter hinges for this final cabinet. But I like this. I like this concept. I'm going to do something like this again. The big difference is when I do it again, the cabinet here would be where all your cups are, so that way when you have kids and stuff come over, they have cups down low, because my daughter can't reach those. But I think it turned out pretty well. This island's already here. The main thing we did was we did these filler pieces so that it looked a little bit more finished. And then on all the cabinets, we did furniture casing like this had around it. So all the trim piece underneath this furniture case like that over there was redone. We got new chairs, new counter or bar height stools from freaking kids, man. Drives me nuts. Crumbs. But there were corbels under here. So when you sat on the desk, you bang your knee off this pointy corbel. So I had the corbels removed. We had these filler pieces put in. We moved the handles up high so you really can't see them as much. God dang it. It's freaking crooked. I promise you I'm going to go through the fine-tooth comb. I want to show you the real, like all the process through this. And then this was like a wine fridge. I don't do that. So we ripped the wine rack out and put some janky filler pieces on here. I hate looking at this stuff. It looks great on camera, I'm sure. It's like my E36 looks. The paint looks ace, but it's swirled out. And the problem is I can fix my E36, but I can't fix this now. I don't want to paint it again. There's too many layers of paint on it. So this has become my little. This is kind of dumb, but I like having this here. So I have my little iMac. I'm waiting on the new 30-inch iMac. These are Dynadio Zeos, which are awesome. So oftentimes I'll come sit here. I don't have an office in this house, and so this is where I'll, talk to you, yell at you in YouTube comments, and usually we park our stuff here. So that's Michelle's drawer. This is my drawer. I'll show you the difference. Here's my drawer, which needs some organization. Here's Michelle's drawer. She's gonna be so mad I showed you that. So. As you might imagine, like when bills and stuff come in or the mail comes, I have that rifled through, organized, sorted, paid, done like instantaneously. And then the big marquee part of the kitchen, which I won't do this again, is this. You're gonna have to back up, Mike, so you can fit the frame. So this is another pantry. Well, you see, I don't even have any food in that pantry. So what do I need two pantries for? Well, we came and toured the house and people are living here. It was like spilling out, like they had to like jam the doors closed because there's stuff spilling out of that pantry, and that pantry was filled floor to ceiling. So we converted this. I figured I want to move the fridge over here, and since I had the room, let's do a dual 36-inch fridge and freezer. And it's too big. In the next house, I'm going to do dual 30s and then probably do a 42-inch in the pantry. And I'm going to separate them. And the other thing that's a pain to clean the stainless, I just cleaned it. It took me a half an hour. I'm going to do a paneled, do wood panels on it. But look at this freaking thing, nuts. So there's the fridge, and here's the freezer. Now these are cabinet depth. Just ordered a bunch of. This is the only reason I wanted this freezer, to get my Snake River Farms, so I could order a bunch of steak and have it ready to go. So the problem here is that this door, this is the first appliance I've had that's been problematic. There's a little divot, so this must have taken an impact of shipping. So there's a divot here. So I need to get a new door, and the guy's dodging me. The darn salesman's dodging me. So what I did in order to combat this, we had the techs come out a bunch. So I've got this piece just kind of peeled back a little bit, because the door, since it was impacted at the bottom there, is kind of slightly curved outward. So this was filling up with snow, just freezing up from the humidity sneaking in. So just having this poked out a little bit, making sure that the door, now the doors are flush, has solved it for now. But I want a new door, so $10,000 freezer, or $9,000 freezer. So I want that to work. But I think it's pretty cool, and it's in this kind of hallway here. It's a bit ridiculous for this size of a house. It's a 2,500 square foot house. But I think the kitchen turned out okay. The backsplash looks cool. Once I get the under-cabinet lighting in, I did this is a Newport brass. One of the key requisites when I go to Ferguson, I go to the showroom looking for fixtures, is the head. So the head of the sink, of the faucet, they're all plastic. All even expensive ones. So this one here, you can see has a ball bearing swivel on the head of it, and it is metal, solid. The whole thing is solid. I want to say this was like $800 or something like that. And then we have the regular Syncerator, and so nothing special here. The Cove dishwasher. Cove. This is the new, God dang it. What am I gonna do with all these cups? They go to the Gator game and then steal all the cups. This is Wolf's new line, Cove. They used to have a partnership with Asco, and I think Bosch is probably still the best, option to do. So I'll probably do a Bosch dishwasher. We never really use a dishwasher, and I think that's all in here. Appliances. We changed these. You can see. Oh my gosh, there's like a freaking pound of dust on there. That's our next thing. So restoration hardware fixtures that we bought. Same thing here. Another restoration fixture. This was a custom table we had in our last house, which we sit at once every 6 months. It's kind of dumb to have a table because everybody sits there. But this is, this will probably be the last house this is in. We'll move on from this. So then out here, actually let's do the outside last because the camera's going to have to adjust. So let's kind of walk through the rest of the house. So the biggest changes were done in here. Painting all the lights. This is a big ass fan, something or other. It makes a lot of noise, so it's not a great solution. And then here, in the master, painted the walls. This fan was here. We put the restoration portable table, and this was stuff from our last house. These were the custom furniture, and these seats were from the last house. Just restoration hardware bed we had from our last house. Just kind of put it in here. I changed all the lighting in here. We redid the closets. So the closets were like shared. And so we converted to a hers closet and did some hanging changes and this section was here, but we changed how the shoes and hanging goes. Same thing with my closet. I just threw my gun safe in there for now. But like I added the shoe section and we had to add this section here. This was just hanging across the back. And so I had to spend a little bit of money and get that set up. The master bath, I changed the lighting, painted it. We added the Panasonic Whisper Quiet fans. So this fan is set up to turn on not via motion but humidity, and it's also switched. The fan in the water closet here, we bought new toilets first, American Signature toilets for the whole house. So this Whisper Quiet fan has a light, and then this one is motion sensed. So you don't turn the fan on, it's when you walk in there and it senses motion, the fans turn on. But the fans run 24/7 at 30 CFM. So I have, like, this fan is running right now, and that's what's cycling the air through. This house has Iconium insulation, so it's probably pretty well sealed. If we did a blower door test, it would probably test pretty sealed. And so I actually have some conditioning in the attic as well. We did, because there were already Delta faucets, so I did Delta handles and then Newport brass fixtures in the shower, changed that. That area of grout was re-grouted, so it catches mold like every other day. So we bought some of that Eco Lab stuff that many of you guys told me, and I spray it, once a month or something on there, so obviously I need to do that. I don't think we really changed anything else in here. It's a freaking tub, it's so stupid. We never use a tub, so. If we were to stay here, I'd rip this bathroom apart and redo it, but we're not going to do that. So that's the master. Got my Special 40s hidden over there in the bounty. Special 40s hidden because they're working in the house here. Over here is where Kate's room is. So we changed these hallway fixtures. The plantation shutters are already here. So we changed these fixtures for restoration. New toilet. Newport brass fixtures, Delta, faucet, spigot, whatever you call that thing. This goofy, never do this stuff either. Never do that. This one I would rip out. I'm trying these. This is a Cree retrofit. It's a Cree, what are they called? Connected Max. They're junk. Don't buy those. You want the ones I have in the kitchen, which are Cree CR6s. So every light fixture, every light bulb, everything's been changed in the house. This room is obviously painted. Kate's room painted a little differently. This is all the stuff from her our other house. It works well. We did all new carpets as well as, at the same time we did. Should have done carpets at the very end, but we couldn't have lived with the carpets. Kate's closet didn't have any organization done, so we did closet organization, which clearly that closet needs some organization on the organization. So now that we feel like we're finally done ripping this place apart, we moved in February, and so now we're done ripping it apart. You're gonna love this. Michelle's gonna love this. Just wait for it, Mike. Kate. This is Kate, our lefty artist. This was cleaned yesterday. So, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this room. We got this tiny little house, and I'm wasting a whole, like 20% of it in this room. So I was kind of laying out, should I put a desk in here and make this an office? We don't really have any friends, so guests don't come and stay with us. No one wants to come stay in stinky Harbor Hills. But this closet also has some organization in it, which I modified a little bit. But this has become Kate's. Kate owns everything apparently. So we should keep all this junk in her room. So we've got another clean out coming. She's doing all kinds of crafts and stuff. Look at her. She makes all this stuff. She's crazy. She's crazy. She's got all these little squishamals, whatever. She's nuts. She'll come in here and start organizing crap, but she organizes like a crazy person, you know. She's like a mad scientist. So I set up this for Ryan, and then he never uses it, so I'm gonna rip this thing out, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. If I'm gonna be here for 2 years, what'll happen is I'm gonna get this place done, and I'm gonna get the yarn building done, and then I'm gonna be looking for something to do, and so I'll come and fix all that, and build something out of that. I was thinking about doing hardwood floors in there and doing like building a pool office. I don't know, we'll see. So then out here, everybody always loves this stuff. I hate this. So this is one of those doors that opens all the way up. It's a freaking 1,000 degrees and it's super humid, and in the winter it's super humid, so it never opened this crap. So it's dumb. I think, you know, in a house in Florida, even if you had a pool, God dang, you would, see, the thing just opens all the way up. But if I do that, then the house is going to take 2 hours to recover. It's too hot, even in October. When we walk out here, we're going to have to give the camera a second. So we'll cut here, we'll let the camera adapt, and then I'll show you all the crap we did on the outside. Oh, actually, let's show them Ryan's room first. So, sorry, I forgot to show you this side of the house. The other wing. So Restoration Hardware. What did I do in here? Just light fixture. You know, all the recessed lighting has been changed. This is another Panasonic Whisper Quiet, so you'll hear it kick up here. This one's on a motion and humidity sensor. So if there's humidity coming from the shower, it kicks on. If there's motion, you're taking a crap, it turns on. And then he has like Delta faucets, or a Kohler, I think. Never do this kind of hanging towel rack. What the heck is this? Why is that stuck to my wall? Like, what could that possibly be for? I'm gonna have to ask Ryan, what is he doing? And so when you do this, it's stupid. Lesson learned. Don't do a towel rack. So I did, again, every room has new towel, I didn't show you in the bathroom, but I did new Brizo towel hangers. We did all new fixtures, new toilets, American Standard, not American Signature. American Signature is a white trash furniture store. New Ecobee controls. So there's a thermostat, and there's another sensor in the other room in my master. So then I added this cabinet. You see this cabinet, we had some backsplash tiles left over, so I had them do the backsplash here. This is a Kohler, remember, metal. I didn't want to spend the money on a fancy Newport brass for here. This sink was already here. These cabinets were all brown. And so again, I'm waiting on handles for these to finish up. So we added this cabinet. This was already here. We got some, my mom and I we came in and organized this area. I supposedly we put new hinges on every cabinet in here so that they're soft close as well. The drawers were already soft closed, but the doors, we're still good. This is that Ecolab that, thanks to you, sent me this. This is what we use on the Ecolab Lemon Lift. We use that on the grout in the master, which works well. So this is kind of nice. Tiny. You can't even hang anything up in here. This is a key. Stop this nonsense. You guys buying all this fancy looking, and I like them. I think they look great. Fancy looking washer and dryer. You need this. I think it's called the TC5. It's a new version. You need old school, crappy looking. I wish they made some nicer looking ones. Speed Queen. So that's what you want in order to make sure your clothes get clean. Last room of the house is Ryan's room. So we got him some restoration furniture for in here because he had some weird old guest room crap that we had. He has the crappy, never do sliding doors like that. They're terrible. He breaks them once a week. I haven't swapped the fan. You notice I put one connected max light bulb in there. He's playing with the different colors. He has the Samsung 49-inch ultra wide. He's always playing Fortnite in here. But his room has new carpet. This is my kids, my son. Look at it. He has this freaking his carpet protector crooked. Like, why would you leave it like that? What's wrong with you? How do you not walk in here? I don't care if I was 3.5 years old. I would have walked in there and fixed that. So this is I'm cursed with the kid and my kids and my wife. So I guess let's start with the front of the house. Okay, so this is I'm just showing you all the mistakes I've made, and I'll hopefully never make it again. But this was like a flower bed. Like, that's useless. This probably doesn't look as good, but this brick matches that, right? That this matches that. I'm trying to convince you that this matches that. What they did is they had a sample, and the sample was picked the darkest brick. It was like this one. I'm like, dang, that's pretty close. And then we got it, and this is what we got. Yeah, it turned out okay. It was too late. It was like I was gone. I came home and I'm like, what do you think? I'm like, oh Lord. But it looks okay because we did that other section. That it's fine. I'm not changing it. I know you guys are thinking, well, if I was living here the rest of my life, I'd rip it up and redo it. I'd do the whole new driveway, but I'm not doing that. It's time for a pressure washer guy to come and dial in, but this porch, you know, it opens up more because there's no more goofy flower bed there. And so the exterior of the house is like literally this weekend about to get dialed in and finished up, and then I'll have the pressure washers come. We touched up and repainted everything on the outside that needs to be painted. So the entire yard, so when we moved in, the day we moved in, maybe 4 days, 5 days later, the toilet started bubbling, right? Just gurgling. And the shower started backing up. I'm like, oh Lord. We need to pump the septic. It's probably never been pumped. It's a 3-year-old house. Probably never pumped the septic tank. Let's get it pumped. Septic guys come out and say your septic system's screwed. Oh Lord. So this whole area here is a drain field. So right underneath here, there's big tubes that run that the sewage drains into, or the water does anyway. The solids stay in the tank. And so this entire yard we had to dig out, bring in 12 dump trucks. We took 12 dump truck loads out, brought 12 in. And there was landscaping like all the way out here. What's with people in freaking landscaping? Right, Chris? Like, they do too much. Too much darn landscaping. And so Chris's idea was to rip out most of this and just make it simple. And so we have rock coming. I decided to do rock so it's more permanent. And he's putting our edging in so that we can retain the rock. And we ordered the rock 4 months ago, which I think it's here now, so we can finally do it this weekend. And then I decided to get rid of that wispy zoysia grass that was ended on my dog as like Velcro, bring it in there and get it all over my now microfiber couch, which is a stronger Velcro. So he'd Velcro all the little wispy grass, take it in, and drop it on my couch and all over the house. So I decided, well, since we're going to rip the whole yard apart anyway, we might as well do St. Augustine. So this is St. Augustine Pro Vista. It's starting to catch. It'll work well at some point. So now is where the whole epicenter of disaster is done over here. I still have, it's a 3-ton AC unit, which is probably a little bit small now because I want to condition the attic. Whenever you seal up an envelope and you seal up the vent, because normally your attic is on the outside of the house. Well, when you do isonine, this is where the builder doesn't know this for whatever reason you think they would. When you seal up an attic, you bring it into the house. And so when you bring the attic in the house, then you have to condition it. You have to dehumidify and condition it. You don't have to keep it at 60 degrees, but you don't want to keep it at 80 degrees or so. And so what I did, this little 3-ton unit, as soon as we conditioned the attic, then we ran into issues with, then there wasn't enough AC for the whole house. And so that was problematic. And so I've had to damp and take most of the conditioning out of the attic decide whether I'm going to put a 4 or 5 ton, conditioner on this house. I really don't want to do that. But this is the condenser for the Mitsubishi that's in the garage, and then we did Tesla solar, and so this panel here is the panel that was in the garage. So this is the panel for the house. That's the meter sub-meter tandem for that now is just a transfer to the solar system. And so this is where all the circuitry or all the circuit breakers were in the middle, like not even in the middle. They're not even smart enough to put it in the middle of the garage. They put it slightly off, but not like off enough where it would make sense. They just pick a spot on the wall and drill holes. And so Perry moved the electric box, or the panel box out here. But I needed a sub panel because I had too much stuff. I've added too many circuits in the house. And so we made the meter a meter tandem. Now when Tesla came, they took the tandem part out of that box on the left. Have our disconnect. There were Tesla transfer switch. This isn't active yet. And then I had Chris, the landscaper, come and put some porta carpets in here to hide this stuff. And so everything's going to look pretty good. So then our power walls. So I did a 16.5 kilowatt solar system, and then 4 power walls. So I won't need a generator. So I'm probably going to be close to net zero on the house, and actually probably sell some energy back. So I'll probably end up with a $200 or $300 per year electric bill. But the key here is if a hurricane comes through, we have brownouts or blackouts, or the power goes out, then the batteries will kick in. I'll be able to run this whole house full, 70 degrees. I run the AC at 71, 70 degrees, and we'll basically have no power bill. But I think there's something wrong with the software, so they haven't kicked it on yet. But we finally got approval. Everything's been signed off on. I had my painters paint all of the conduit. We put our porta carpus trees here to cover up our batteries, and but the windows are still exposed. And then if you come back here and take a look, this is our 16.5 kilowatt solar system. So this whole section here is done. I think we have 42 panels, and then the whole back side of the house also has that. Probably should have showed you the garage first, because here is where the water system for the house is. So in their infinite wisdom, they put the air handler, the sub panel or the panel box, and the water heater. Traditional little 60-gallon water heater we'd blow through in 3 minutes, and then you can only take 1 shower per day. I switched to a Renai, which I'm sure isn't the best, but I just let the plumber pick it. So this is the Renai with a recirc pump. So we put a recirc line. I had them do that. Forgot about that. Recirc line to the master, so the water doesn't take a half an hour to heat up. And we already have a gas. We have a 250-gallon propane tank on the other side of the house that feeds this. And so this tankless water heater we did. And then I've tried to do a Nuvo citrus-based filter, which is junk. And I switched to somebody suggested that I do Kinetico. So this is a Kinetico softening system. So that's the salt tank. Those are the resin tanks or iron breaker and softener. There's a sediment filter there on the left, that little blue thing. And so this system, the whole house is treated, softened, and then of course with the hydro tap, it then filters it again, which is probably unnecessary. But I'm a stickler. I want legit water. I think the system is like $200 installed, something like that. The Tesla system was like 62. And I'll probably, if I get it back, I hope I'll get it back. If I sell the house, maybe I won't. But I promise you, I'll be able to sell this house in an instant. Just simply because, just depending on the pricing I get for it, just because it was a janky, normal, basic piece of crap house, and now it's gotten pretty darn legit. So all the rock is coming in here. The gas line runs down here as well to feed my outdoor kitchen, which is rounding out. This is like a weed fest jank tree. So right when we first moved in, I had them rip all those out, and we put in these porta carpus trees, which will all fill in and grow up nice and tall. As you can see, somebody's backyard or somebody's, you know, master bedroom is looking right into my house. Michelle wanted this fire pit that we'll never ever use, that we did when we did the pavers. This retaining wall was already in. We've already managed to ruin this door. This is a poop pile that we filled in. There's some more matching bricks. Apparently the people who lived here before just had their dogs just take dumps there. We filled the crap. And then we did this nature cast PVC cabinets. Now I went, my interior designer is going to design my next house for me and design my last house. She took us on a tour of this like $6 or $7 million house, and they were putting nature cast cabinets in. And so they make sense. So we said, well, if you're going to do outdoor cabinets in Florida, it's so darn hot and humid that a regular wooden cabinet would get ruined. And so we decided to do these PVC cabinets. This is where the Evo is going to go. So this is the Evo 30G, the full cooktop. It has a cover that goes over top of this. I've got a 48-inch, that's the grill there, so Lynx Professional Grill. Try that out. I don't know, so Lynx, Wolf, you know, some of these companies just appeal to me, and then I try it out and figure out if it works. I've got a fridge that I'm still waiting for, so there's a little Sub-Zero little fridge that's going to go here. And then we ordered the granite, and then of course they didn't have it, and then we ordered another granite, and they didn't have it, and so we ordered another granite, and so hopefully our granite tops will be here shortly. And then what's going to happen here, when the homeowners gets off the back, I'm going to sneak in here, see here's the lovely Florida. Cockroach crazy, bugs, animals, you're always fighting them. So I'm going to do a 60-inch hood up here, and so we've got to do a cinder block, and then this is going to be like a waterfall, like a big giant piece of the same granite that's going on the countertop here is going there. And then Perry's going to come out, we're going to get rid of these goofy Home Depot fans, and I'm going to get some sort of legit fans, and then we got to put some recessed lighting in out here as well. So we're probably just going to have to, I don't know, we might have to cut a hole in here and then crawl up in here and then seal that hole up. But I'm going to put a bunch of recessed lighting. We'll put some Dyne Audio outdoor speakers out here that'll be running via Blue OS, via my phone, through the NAD preamp, and we'll have that all set up. And then I'm probably going to get just some furniture, which we'll never use, but just so this looks complete. That's the hood right there. And this would be a nice setup. You know, somebody else who's going to really love this. So the next person who moves in here is really going to be happy that I bought all this. I don't even know what I spent on it, but it's probably going to be, I think this setup is probably, I don't know, 50 grand, 60 grand, something like that. Remember, I had a giant house with huge expenses, and so I wanted to try some things and figure out this house. Also wanted to see if maybe I could get that money back. So this is just a case study, a test. And so I was able to buy this house cash and pay for all this stuff cash, and I only know one way to do it, and that's to attempt to do it right. And I've learned a lot of lessons on how to do everything wrong, in hopes to someday be able to do it right the next project. So after the outdoor kitchen's done, this weekend our landscaping should be done. We have a real drainage issue on this side of the house. You can see the river running down the side of the house here. There is a French drain here, but clearly the French drain wasn't sloped properly because the water just parks right next to my garbage cans here. So all these trees were already here. We've just cleaned them up and maintained them. It's funny, the homeowners, this place was a gosh darn disaster. Oh, jeez. This place was a mess. And weeds everywhere, and no one said anything. I come here and try to make it nice, and they're after it. They put this little pad here, and then I got in trouble for doing that, and so I had to put some trees. I put some trees to cover that up, so that's going to look fine. And so once this all gets, he's getting the landscaping ready to do the rock. We're going to cut in and do a French drain here because it's clearly not working. So let's go into the garage. Oh, we put that little pad in there for the basketball hoop, which are not allowed basketball hoops, but they just make up rules. They're probably going to send me a letter on that at some point when they watch the videos. These doors are supposed to be coming out. We're supposed to be doing these amazing roll-offs that are sitting up there. Well, that got denied. You know, and so I don't know. There's nothing I can do. And so what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to insulate these doors, or maybe try to find some doors that are insulated. and I'm going to do a high lift. So we'll take this section and we'll go up, carry it close to the ceiling, and we'll probably move the lights and redo a bunch of crap in order to make this work. But I think I'm going to just punt the idea of doing my lift in here, so I don't think I'm going to do the scissor lift. I'm just going to scrap it, and since I'm going to get the heck out of here anyway, I'm going to do the Swiss tracks probably next week, and so this will be all slate gray Swiss track flooring. So these are ZR troffers, and what I underestimated was how big, I didn't know how big the ceiling brackets were. These are designed to go in recessed, or in a recessed environment. But they make an enclosure for it. The enclosure is now darn near 6 inches deep. So the lighting is fantastic in here, but the look of the lights is not perfect. But you know, again, these are the lessons you learn. These are how you figure this stuff out. We did saber cabinets. So it's a 22-foot countertop. I have a 75-inch Sony LCD, so 75 Sony LCD. I've got, well, that's another thing we did for the whole house. I ran Cat 6 all over the house. So like Ryan's PC is hardwired, my Mac is hardwired, my secondary Wi-Fi, whatever you call that thing, is hardwired. It's hardwired here, so all the TVs are wired directly, so we're not taxing the Wi-Fi signal. But we're doing this limestone backsplash, and I guess you don't even call it a backsplash because we're doing a whole wall, floor to ceiling, wherever the cabinets are not. So the mistake we made on this is a cheap limestone, so they're sealing this tile for me. But what happens is the limestone's so porous that actually the thin set, the cement thin set, will leach through it. And then there's going to be a bunch of imperfections. So my tile guys are world class here working on this, and so they're working it out where they can make it work, where it's not going to look terrible. It's not going to look perfect. There's going to be some imperfections in the tiles, but that's just part of it. So this is where my pressure washer system is going to go. So I have deionizer. And so the nice thing about this, the deionizing filters won't have to do a lot of work because we have a softener. And remember, softened water is not spotless water. And so we're doing this, so I did a plywood backer here, so it's a 3/4 inch piece of plywood that covers the wall. I did some safe and sound insulation in between to help keep the vibration away from my son's room. And what I learned is that he's way louder than the pressure washer. He's in there screaming, yelling on his computer. But pressure washer shelf, close reel, deionizer. Here's my stub out for my water inlet. I decided to do my spigot here for my bucket filler on the corner. We'll see how that turns out. And then I'm going to have shelving. So I'll have 4 stainless shelves. I'm doing P316 shelves to put all my bottles. And my buckets will park right underneath there. This is the family cabinet for all the family crap. That's all they get. That's the problem with this house. There's nowhere to put it. And so this is getting tiled as well. So I think it's going to look way cool. So the tiles going to come all the way here, go down the side. And so under cabinet lighting is on a Maestro, because those are regular. This is a regular forward phase dimmer. These are 0 to 10 volt dimmers. These are sort of wireless Pico remotes. And so each lighting setup, so there's technically 4 zones of light in here. Then I have a motion sensor. So the motion sensor is set up to where the pans in front here, those turn on when the doors open. So at least have some light, but it's not a shocking amount of light where you're blinded. And then the 2 lights in front of the TV are on a separate zone that I can turn off, but when the TV is on, I don't have extra light on. So air compressor, flooring, and then cabinet organization is going to be going on here soon. But right here is where there was an air handler. Right there in the corner is where the water heater was. The electric sump panel was right here, messing up my cabinet in symmetry. And so the reason why my Mitsubishi is off center is because the electric panel was there and I did the air conditioner thinking I wasn't going to relocate that. So we'll swap out all the switches for Lutron, all the outlets for Lutron light, Lutron switches and all that stuff. And those are a little finer details I'll be sharing with you as we go through. So again, I'd say we're 85% of the way there. I've got the tile guys will be finished here probably today or maybe early next week. And once they're out of here, we're going to do deep cleaning, start organizing, start getting rid of more stuff, simplifying it down, ordering some new, organization for the cabinets. This is all getting tool gridded out, so all the tools will have a place. And we'll have a really nice setup. We've got subwoofers on both sides. Oh, I didn't show you the audio. I've got a NAD M33 in here. We put our printer in here because I don't know where to put it in the house. It's because the network's right here. My network switch is behind here. And then we have Orbi, which is Netgear Orbi, which I had a whole Ubiquity system that didn't work for school. I got tired of trying to figure out how that works, so I bought a more consumer-based system as well. So I have, and this is another mistake I made, is I did a stereo pair of speakers. The problem with stereo pair of speakers is that they're too far apart, 22 feet apart, but lesson learned on that as well. Anyway, thanks for watching. That's the tour, that's the update. A lot of time, a lot of effort, but I'm always waiting on things to show up. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you on the next tour. Hopefully the next tour will be the wrap-up of the completed house and the start of sharing with you my next house that we're going to build from the ground up. See you soon.